Ranulf Higden. Higden was an English chronicler and a Benedictine monk of the monastery of St.Werburgh in Chester. He is believed to have been born in the west of England, took the monastic vow at Chester in 1299, and seems to have travelled over the north of England. Biography. Higdon was the author of the Polychronicon, a long chronicle, one of several such works of universal history and theology. It was based on a plan taken from Scripture and written for the amusement and instruction of his society. It closes the long series of general chronicles which were soon superseded by the invention of printing. It is commonly styled Polychronicon, from the longer title Ranulfi Castrensis, Cognomen Higden. Polychronicon ab initio mundi uscad mortem regis Edwardi III in septem libros dispositum. The work is divided into 7 books, in humble imitation of the 7 days of Genesis, and, with exception of the last book, is a summary of general history, a compilation made with considerable style and taste. Written in Latin, it was translated into English by John of Trevisa and printed by Caxton, and by others. For 2 centuries it was an approved work. It seems to have enjoyed considerable popularity in the 15th century. It was the standard work on general history, and more than 100 manuscripts of it are known to exist. A Christchurch manuscript says that Higden wrote down to the year 1342. The fine manuscript at Christ's College, Cambridge, states that he wrote to the year 1344, after which date, with the omission of 2 years, John of Malvern, a monk of Worcester, carried the history on to 1357, at which date it ends. According, however, to one editor, Higden's part of the work goes no further than 1326 or 1327 at latest, after which time it was carried on by 2 continuators to the end. Thomas Gale, in his Hist. Brit. and Amp. C. Scriptores, XV, published that portion of it, in the original Latin, which comes down to 1066. 3 early translations of the Polychronicon exist. The first was made by John of Trevisa, chaplain to Lord Berkeley, in 1387, and was printed by Caxton in 1480. The second, by an anonymous writer, was written between 1432 and 1450. The third, based on Trevisa's version, with the addition of an 8th book, was prepared by Caxton. These versions are especially valuable as illustrating the change of the English language during the period they cover. The Polychronicon, with the continuations and the English versions, was edited for the Rolls series by Churchill Babington and Joseph Rawson Lumby. This edition was adversely criticized by Mandell Creighton in the Eng. Hist. Rev. for October 1888. There is a recent translation of his sermons by Margaret Jennings and Sally A. Wilson. He is buried in Chester Cathedral.